Good morning, Inspire Random. And you know what? Not just you, I also used to have trouble getting into feeling states until I remembered this scenario. Sometimes you go to the supermarket or you go to the restaurant or you go to the cafe to pick up something, right? Because someone told you to get something. They said, oh, pick up some beef or pick up some sauce. You go to the store assistant and go like, okay, where's the sauce department? And you find that it's right here. The next moment you're like, which brand do I take? And then you start thinking to yourself, if the person who told you, maybe your mom, your spouse or something, someone probably sent you out to order stuff, order food, pick up stuff from the groceries. Maybe your friend or your family member, they went to the bathroom and the waiter is there taking your order. Sir, what can I get for this person? We are really backed up with customers and we need to take your order right now or else he or she has to wait. So we don't have the time for he or she to come back to the table. So you're like, what should I get? And then what you did in that moment is that you summoned a past sense of consciousness, right? A previous consciousness where this, your brother, your friend, was right there with you in a restaurant, sitting at this table, maybe the opposite table, opening the menu you're looking at right now. And it's like, oh, I have the beef quesadillas right there. So that's precisely it, because in that moment, you summon a consciousness, a feeling state of when that person last ate with you and had a good meal, right? Maybe you've been to this restaurant a couple of times and there were some times where the experience was so-so. Sometimes the experience was good, and you remember one particular time and this good friend had such a hearty meal with that plate of beef quesadillas and you thought, yeah, that's it, exactly. Neville Goddard has been teaching that assume the wish fulfilled. And one of the best times to practice this, and he says specifically to practice this before sleep. Why? Modern science tells us this also due to the ability to access various mental states. If beta is the working state, then there's also alpha, theta, delta. All these are higher problem-solving states of mind that allow us to get special downloads of information from higher self, the universe, and wherever, depending on what we wish to do. I'm not sure about you, but once upon a time in high school, where I had so many projects that were due in the same number of few days, I was wondering, how was I gonna complete all this on time? I've never been dumped with so many projects before, and this is like the first term of school. I've never experienced having to do 5 projects due in the same week. I was informed like, oh, you gotta get this done next week. It's like, gosh, how am I gonna arrange my time? I've got so many other things to do and the school ends at a certain time every day. It bothered me so much that when I went to sleep that night, I was thinking about how am I just gonna fit in all that stuff, because during the weekend I had my other commitments as well, like certain enrichment programs, classes that I also went for. And when I woke up in the morning, it appears that I had done all the planning in my sleep. How exactly I was going to very efficiently perform all these projects and finish them on time. And I worked according to that plan. By the time the submissions came in, I turned in everything right on time and with a good quality work. My friends were wondering how I finished it because so many of them handed out the work late or even incomplete. Once upon a time in my previous business, I was also faced with a problem. I'm not going to go into specifics of it, but there were intricate things that needed to be solved, and there was no existing solution anywhere else. So if anything at all, I had to be the one to solve it. I thought about it all at night, even where calculations were required and various analysis had to be done, SWOT analysis, etc. Interesting thing is, I did all that in my sleep, and upon waking, the problem was solved, and all I had to do was to just begin working on the solution, because all the calculations had already been done in my sleep. All the SWOT analysis had already been done in my sleep. I stopped for a moment and realized that I actually slept in earnest the night before it was not as though I had physically done these calculations. The most bizarre thing is, I decided that, what if, because I didn't really work on this, what if the things that I thought that I had done were not done? So I decided to pick out some of the problems that I had solved in my sleep, and just to recheck the numbers again on a calculator. They actually turned out to be correct. Fast forward down to present. We're all here learning about manifestation. We're all here, we're gathered for a common purpose, Neville Goddard and his various teachings. And I am here telling you today that now you already have, not just now, you already have had similar experiences perhaps. You already have had experiences. You've been in various life situations where you had to make a decision in place of a friend, loved one, family member, spouse, child, so on and so forth. What you could do at that time was to summon an image of that person present, that person's emotions, and that, my friends, is a feeling state. So with what you now know, let me ask you a few askformations. An askformation, it comes from ask a question, and affirmation, affirm something into the present. For example, let me ask you, what if on this table that you're currently sitting at and watching this video, someone stuffed an envelope beneath your arm, and that envelope contained $2 million in your local currency, except Indonesia, because that's worth jack, right? Except Vietnam, because that's worth jack. Okay, fine. An envelope of the equivalent of $2 million in your local currency. How do you feel right now that you've just received an envelope with your local currency equivalent of $2 million that came through under your armpit in a big envelope? How do you feel right now? What do you now plan to do today that you've just received this large amount of money? This, my friends, is an askformation, right? By asking you a question, I've just made you think of a situation in your present tense. Just like the restaurant example, just like my work example, school example, and now I'm asking you a question. Now, some of you have a certain goal to accomplish that you have in mind to do. What if you have now accomplished the finished result and it's turned out the most perfect possible way ahead of schedule, and that is right now? How will you feel if your goal has just been completed ahead of schedule right now? What is your reaction to life today, right now, that this goal has already been completed? What if I've now given you the solution to your existing problem of picturing the wish already fulfilled? You know exactly what you need to do right now. So, take care. I'll hear from you in the comments just exactly how well you did in assuming the wish fulfilled. I look forward to hearing your great stories of success in your manifestation.